so far. President Rawlings' burial 1 year on. What are your thoughts about his legacy? And the directive by the Regional Coordinating Council of the Greater Accra Region, working with the regional minister and the AMA to decongest the streets. 055-556-1034. Let's talk about Apiati now, because this disaster happened on the day that you came. So by the time you came on Thursday, it hadn't yet happened. It was in the afternoon, and a lot of things have happened. A support fund has been inaugurated, and Madam Joyce Aye, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, is in charge of that, raising funds for the benefit of the people of Apiati. But there's some issues coming out. So Apiati chiefs demand evidence of police escort, because the law says that if you're transporting explosives to the site, wherever, you must have a police escort. Didn't specify whether the escort can be sitting inside the truck or on a bike or in a car in front or behind. And so the chiefs just want to know evidence that there was an escort. I'm sure there are conversations going around with the investigation, so we'll get answers from that. But just tell us about, I mean, when you heard this, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, this disaster, and just the behavior of some of our people who were actually running to the site, and a lot of lives were actually saved because the driver came out who knew what his cargo was. He said, "No, get back." And the speculation that action alone must have saved a lot of lives. But the devastation, the deaths, the injuries, and our response to this, what does it say to you about safety consciousness, planning for problems, response to problems?
I think that our NADMO needs to educate our people a lot. It's very sad that we've lost this many people. We've lost properties. And of course, affected the nation in a way. People think that something happened that fast, so it's not affecting. It's affecting everything. In fact, it's a national security issue. Life are involved, and people are going to be resuscitated. And I'm thankful to God for one person who is taking up a challenge now. Madam Joyce Aye is one person who is very balanced. Very balanced. Remember, she's even served every government. She's served NDC, served MPP, served in every institution. I think is one lady who we all hold in a very high esteem. And I'm happy that she's taken up this responsibility. But moving forward, we need to understand that lives are very precious. These are the things that we have done in the past that has not helped. I think that we take a lot of things for granted. We're carrying explosion. We know the laws that governs carrying explosions. Why do we become so Abyssinian in our approach to life?
Abyssinian.
Yes. and we leave things because this could have been prevented.
Yes.
It could have, in fact, the whole disaster could have been prevented. What I'm hearing was that somebody across the thing. Yeah. All this could have been prevented. Knowing that we are carrying an explosion, we use the escort to do a lot of things that don't matter. People carry the escort, carry the outriders, carry the motorcade into a lot of things that becomes a show off, instead of using it in situations like this.
Where it is needed.
So our negligence is part of it. And trust me, a lot of people must answer. The investigation should not be just centered on the explosion, but what led to the explosion. Because this could have easily been avoided.
Could have been avoided.
Lives have been lost, and of course the driver, even if the driver survived it, he himself, the trauma he'll be going through now, is not the best for us. And then also, how inquisitive are we? We don't mind our business. Atame said something many years ago. His president said, "Do for yourself."
Drop your house matter.
Do for yourself. People want to just go and see, and that is why we distort information. And so we need to be very mindful. We have to go to the bottom of this thing. This is not one of the things that should be swept under the carpet at all. This must be dealt with properly so it doesn't happen again. Okay. Because we've lost lives, precious lives. Yeah. And from what I'm gathering now, it is not a life that we should take for granted at all. My team is organizing a plan for us to go and hold a crusade there, like I did in the case of Major Mahama when he died. I went to Dencho Boase and I held a 5-day crusade. And that is how some of the men who had fled to the forest came back. Yes, I went there. I went to the Air Force base. I spoke to them. They gave me their helicopter, Air Force helicopter. We transported things, and then some people went by road. And it was through that we had some of the guys come back. And a lot of people commended us for that. We are going back to Apieti to men do it. And what I'm saying is that we should be very mindful and not let this thing die without going to the bottom of it. This is sad.
Very, very sad indeed. I'll bring in Sheikh for your comments in a short while, but we just want to show you some footage. So one of our colleagues did a walk through the town, and for those of you who are curious to know what Apieti looks like a week after that disaster, well, so this, when you take a look at where some of the people, displaced people are being kept, you know. So these are footage from the community that was devastated by the explosion that took place last week. So one explosion, and look at the devastation that it caused. You know, somebody's roof is just gone. You know, the force, the energy that was released from those, it's a 20-footer full of explosives. Container, yeah. So it's not a joke, you know. So this is some of the buildings you can see in the community.
So
totally destroyed.
It was not gas.
No, it wasn't a gas. No, it was explosives they used for in mining operations.
Mining.
Yes, for blowing up the ground to look for the
rocks.
Yes,
to blast the rocks.
and these are explosives that scatter huge rocks.
Yes.
You know, so the force of it will not be a joke. And as you can see, it's a rural community, farmers, you know, minding their own business, and all of a sudden you hear a sound like that. You know, homes have been destroyed. Official count dead 13. That's what we have so far.
A lot of people are hurt. Seriously.
Yes, a lot of people are hurt.
Injuries.
Yes, the injuries will be many. Homes destroyed. You can imagine. I mean, look at a house like this.
And environmental impact.
Yes.
Yes.
So these are pictures from Apieti. Yeah. Lives have been lost, and you know, livelihoods have been damaged. Yeah. So these are some of the pictures that we have for you. Sheikh, your comments.
My sympathies again. I mean, to the whole. I mean, the chief and the people of Apieti. The kind of terrible humanitarian situation that they find themselves in. We're making reference to when some of these things happen, you find people now wanting to get close. I think that there's a certain very low risk perception whenever any danger strikes. And it appears to me also in part of our socialization, the sense of safety and security is not strong in us. So we even make joke of very threatening situations. So you see, when my wife showed me on the phone, and when the people were getting close and they were using their phones, and the gentleman was saying, "Hey, hey,"
Yeah.
and then they were going, and then we heard, "Pow!"
That's it. Explosion.
Explosion. They were going close. In Nigeria, in some of the areas where what oil flows out.
Yes.
And people see
Delta River.
Yeah, I mean they are rushing there to go and then collect.
They call it bunkering.
And then the spark
Yes.
comes in,
Explosion.
and you see human beings roasted.
Yes.
You know, and so our sense of safety is very low. I remember at a training college, even as students at a training college, then because we were going to be teachers, you know, our principal who had introduced carpentry and we didn't like him. I'm confessing. He removed certain subject and he brought in carpentry and we were angry with him. So the teacher who was coming to, the master instructor who was coming to a big first lesson, safety precautions.
Yes.
First lesson that he introduced on safety precautions. And we gave him a name. Anytime it was time for him to come, they say, "Obo, Oba, safety precaution."
Safety precautions.
We laughed at him.
Yeah, but it was a serious thing.
But it was a serious thing he was going to. We're going to handle sharp implements.
Yes.
So he was teaching us how to handle it safely. Use it for your benefit, not to become harm to you. But even as students at that level,
Took it as a joke.
as a joke. safety precaution. That's how we. In fact, we called him until, out of frustration, he left our school.
Oh wow.
Yes. You know, and so this plays out in the way we behave. So I think safety education, especially in areas where we are using very dangerous and life-threatening, implements or items and so on and so forth. Those who are in charge must understand that this, and that's why the people are asking whether the police escort was really there. We are told that from the reports that there was a police, but now investigation needs to go to establish whether there was a police escort and the police. What's supposed to be his role? What was supposed to be his role?
Supposed to be escorting and letting people. The escort must let people know that this is what is happening. This
Something
is coming. Yes,
dangerous.
It's coming. Yes, clear the way. Things like
coming
that.
and
Yes.
so on. And that safety protocol, how rigorous it is. Because this is something, even if a single one explodes. And so you see how a whole village has been devastated.
Completely.
I mean, wiped off within a second. Property and life, and now people are injured. Now a humanitarian situation has arisen, to which all of us are duty bound to make a contribution. In fact, I want to congratulate Auntie
Joyce Aye.
Joyce Aye, a very good friend, associate. I know her very well. She talks to me very well. She speaks to me infante.
Okay.
So
nice.
yeah. So congratulations, and we all have to back her to support government. Yeah, government is doing its best, but the best of the government may not be the best, and this is where religious communities like ours, Reverend Desir, myself, the Christian, the Muslim community. We need to help and bring some relief to the people. But, and I think going forward, we need to look at the laws that guide the movement of such life-threatening items, and to make sure that. And so, if there is somebody who was negligent in his duty, I think the law must take its course.
Yes. Investigation is underway. The Chief Inspector of Mines
I hope it is an honest investigation, that nobody also brings any impediment in the way of those who are expected to do. They must be sincere, because it's in the broader interest of the community of life. And I think that lessons learned from the recommendations are what is going to. So there should be honest investigation. And where somebody has violated the law, let the law take its course.
Awesome. You're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. A day here with the Reverend and the Sheikh. It's 8 o'clock, and we'll be joined later on the show by the Deputy Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. John Kuma, who is going to answer all your e-levy questions. Take it as a virtual town hall and start sending your questions in, because we're going to talk with him less and listen to you more. All the questions you want to know about e-levy will be answered on this show. Momo transactions, is it an unnecessary tax? What are they going to use the money for? How much do they want? Is Ghana's whole financial future going to be just based on the need to pass this law? Why does the government want to pass the law? What does it happen if I don't want to pay? What do I do? Things like that. Everything will be on this show. So keep it coming in 055-556-1034. We looked at the 1 year since the burial of President Rawlings, which is exactly today. We also looked at the vision to get the hawkers off the streets. 1st February, the clock is ticking. And then we also looked at Apiati and matters arising. She rose up early in this morning, and she's all ready for you with your messages. Thelma.
Me too, I day.
You day like me. You day like my name. What's up?
Thank you for sending your messages across. Our WhatsApp number 055-556-134. Leviticus, good morning. Ghanaians are interested in knowing where stock of these explosive materials are kept, either by the mining company, supplier company, or companies, because we might be sitting on timing bombs, and that's according to Leviticus. And George Afrani, the politicians should know that those who are interested in law and order in town are more than those on the streets breaking the rules. Your Thursday panel is the best show. Sheikh, let's see if I can bring this down. Good morning, my brother and your panelists. Family of our hero, our former president. It's so sad that in Ghana now we will not have a single person or soul in authority to act or stand like him for Ghana. Like Ghana will change in the like he did. But God over everything, thanks for the discussion. My name is Omegbe Michael Selom from Atito in the Anglo State.
That's my holy village. Achito.
Achito.
Yeah, ma. Thank you.
Okay. Achito.
Achito. Achito. Right, so more messages coming in 055-556-1034. Thelma is reading your messages. Any more?
Definitely some more. Edinkra from Empire. So the people of Apiate need a complete resettlement. We pray that the terms of reference are strictly followed. So a number of issues we've discussed this morning, and you can pick on any of them. Good morning, Mohammed Shafiu Fuseina from Kaswa. Hi, Kafui. The GM minister is doing PP members who are given just imagine what's the work of our MMDCs. You only see them when the honorable minister is in their municipals. Well, the rest of the comments
you said, let me read it.
They will fail him as NDC failed Alfred Okovander Point.
There's a balance.
All right, that's your opinion, and you are free to share it. Hello, good morning to you all on the show. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for watching us, Aaron. I take solace. Hey, him so can
yes, let's read it.
I take solace from MHV 896. So as a Methodist person myself, I also take solace. So solidarity, solace. Now praise we great and famous men, the fathers named in story. We know that song. And his key message, Rollins will forever remain in our hearts, charismatic, energetic, and forceful. Indeed, we've lost a great soldier whose actions and inaction gave birth to emancipation and self-consciousness. May God keep his soul until the last day of the resurrection morning. Keep fighting, keep resting, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. Thank you. Saki sends that message. What's Silas saying? It's like no one has ever lived on the planet Earth called J.J. Rawlings. In just a year, he has been totally forgotten. Man is nothing. May his soul continue to R.I.P.P. Silas Odumi saying
well,
that
I
from
protest. We remembered him this morning.
Yes.
So he's not been totally forgotten. We
I don't.
him.
So it totally
yes.
is
we remembered him, didn't we not?
Is a flawed concept.
Yes,
good morning.
You've read this one.
So I read that one as well. Perhaps let's go up because some more are coming in. Thank you so much, Kaf. Your dynamism has brought confidence to we, the cherished viewers of GTV, the leading station. May God lift higher to bring things more. And thanks be to your team as well. We admire their support and hard work. The whole team, the ones that you don't even see on screen. Sometimes put people in other corners. Everybody's solid. So good morning, TK and V. Kudos to our Sheikh and Bishop.
I like that. Is that a promotion? It's a promotion coming. It's a promotion coming.
My sincere heartfelt condolences to the people of Apiate. May God take care of them in their time of need. More, our police on our roads are not helping. They will take money from drivers and allow them to go, not talking about what they carry. Dr. Richmond Nkrumah sent us that from Achimdro. Okay, so the guy who was driving that truck with the big logo.
Driving through Ejisu town.
So now if you don't take care, the police will be knocking on your door. So just do the right thing. More messages. Mena Hunter, what's Mena Hunter saying? Good morning. So how are their children going to school? I guess it's a question about the Apiate community. And our schools open in the community is something that we are monitoring very, very closely. Hey, that's a long one.
You see, there's no Henry Cote in New Edubiase. You need a Henry Cote here.
Angelic traits found in human form. We don't need anyone to run us through his godly heritage. Long live soldier, long live angel J.J. Rawlings. Accra is working again through Henry Cote. No Henry Cote in New Edubiase. Humanitarianism and disaster management must be planned well here, where when you die, you've died. So sorry to Apiate is what Mina Hunter Franco Bab is telling us from New Edubiase. There's a number we've saved as IGP. Good morning, Daniel from Airport Residential. You guys are doing good work. God bless you and your panelists. Thank you for sending Ben Armano. Please tell the police to be circumspect in issuing statements when issues of this happens. It clearly shows that there was no escort to the truck. And I think Maxam and the company purchasing the explosives must come together and compensate and build proper houses to accommodate the people. That's according to Ben and no more. Good morning, Dave. walking. But I want you and them to put yourself in the shoes of the people selling on pavement. Mauli Selassie Chachukoshi is telling us from Newtown. He asks, if we want our pavement to be like the Western world, we need to make provision for people selling there. We are not thinking about problems they will go through after sacking them from the pavement. And that's from the same source. How can we play this video? Which video would you be referring to? Good morning, good work done for our non-political discussion. God bless you all, from James Nkrumah in Cape Coast. So that would be all. Last one, I think the Arrive Alive campaign the Ghana Road Safety Authority started should be intensified. Please, is it possible to get the number of the doctor who came to the show to talk
about baldness? We did a show on baldness.
With you behind the scenes, but thank you for sending your messages across. There's so many more that will be coming in, but then we'll be wrapping up. Good morning. My problem with our leadership in Ghana is anytime there is a disaster where people's houses are being destroyed, they quickly run in with donations of food items. My question, where are they going to sleep? Where are they going to cook these food items? And how long will they eat that food? And what quantity? I think their housing issues should be addressed, not just food they will eat and have no place to sleep. Mr. Anafo sent us that message. Keep them coming in. 055 5561034. I'll hand over.
Thelma sitting in this chair, she will be putting the questions, your questions, to the Deputy Minister of Finance. We're having an e-levy virtual
The ones you
call.
asked earlier, can
Yes.
we just cut that bit? When he says I just play,
You
I'll sit
play
there
and then you, that's
and
all.
watch
That's all. Yeah. So those questions, you can start sending your questions ahead. All right. Wherever on Twitter, use the hashtag GTV Breakfast, and on Facebook as well. If you want us to find your message, because when we click on the hashtag, then we'll find your message. E-levy. You can do it. Hashtag GTV Breakfast. Hashtag e-levy, and we'll get all your questions for the Deputy Finance Minister. We're going to keep an eye on a couple of things that should be monitored. But just to give you a quick run through of the headlines, Coach Milo has been officially sacked. He was sacked over the weekend, unofficially, and now it's been official. GFA is going to name a new coach soon, and that's a big headline I'm sure you'll be talking about. I'm going to be running over to Valerie, who has an engagement with us right now. No drinks and cloth, but broadcasting engagement.
We're going back to Cape Coast, guys. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We're keeping an eye with Alan on something that I'm going to allow Alan to tell us. So we are going to go to Cape Coast in a short while, and Alan is on our screen. Good morning again, Alan. What can you report? What's happening? What are you keeping an eye on?
Hey, good morning, Valerie, and welcome to Cape Coast, the central regional capital. Well, Cape Coast celebrates the Fetu Afashe. The origin dates back into the 1700s, where it is believed, legends has it, that Cape Coast was ravaged by a plague, and in order to relieve the people of the plague and restore their dignity and sanctity, they had to appease their 77 gods. And so the cleansing of the people of Cape Coast is the origin of the Fetu Afashe. In Fanti, it means Ifintu, cleansing, Ifintu. So whenever you hear Fetu Afashe, bear in mind its origin is as a result of the plague that ravaged the Cape Coast, or the Ifintu traditional area. And the cleansing is where the word Fetu came from. And the act of cleansing is where the festival itself came from. So Fetu Afashe simply means cleansing of the gods to restore the sanctity and dignity of the people of Cape Coast. We're keeping an eye this morning in Cape Coast, and we're looking critically at the one water body in Cape Coast that runs right across the entire central region. And so if you leave Cape Coast and you go towards Elmina, you'll find the same water body lying or running through Elmina. It is known here as Baka, and we're keeping an eye at Baka Anu this morning. You'll find Accra has its Kole Lagoon, and if it had been well taken care of, it could even provide a means of transport for the people of Accra if it had been well taken care of. We allowed it to be consumed by polythene and recyclable materials, so that now it is choked. It appears, though, that a similar thing is happening here in Cape Coast. And so if I pan my camera around, what you will have is the entire stretch of the Baka River as it flows into the ocean. It looks beautiful upstream, but as you come close downstream and then you come to the bank of it, you will find that polythene, rubber, recyclable material has taken over completely, and it is slowly gathering. And with our eyes off the ball, this may likely present an opportunity for refuse dumping, and then this will lead to the water losing its grip or its fair share of the land, and then it will eventually become a reclaimed land, as it is with our Kole Lagoon in Accra, and presently you have people building in it. This water body also provides a haven for birds. Migrating birds nest here when it is their season, and then off season they move on. And so not only are we losing the water, but we're also losing the opportunity to have migrating birds who migrate here annually to nest here. The Baka is in the jurisdiction or falls under the jurisdiction of the municipal assembly, and therefore they will have control over what goes into it and what comes out of it. It appears somebody assumes it could be anybody's job to ensure that these materials are collected in order to free up the water and allow free flow into the ocean. You will have a bridge that runs across the water and allows it to flow freely into the ocean. And so as I pan my camera around, what you missed is a bird, a particular bird, displaying acrobatically on the water. I wish I could get it once again and bring it to viewers before I pan my camera around to observe the flow of the water from here as it goes into the ocean. Unfortunately, the bird is sank deep into the water again, and so I am unable to bring it to you. But this is how the water looks like upstream, and downstream is where you have the collection of the recyclable material slowly clogging up the water and is going to eventually impede free flow. I am going to cross over, walking across the bridge now and bringing you the source as it enters the sea from upstream. Again, you'll find the same recyclable material collecting at the banks of it. This provides opportunity for dumping of refuse. Why is it so? It is so because, as it is, who will think it isn't okay to dump your household refuse out here? If this is collected here over a long period and nothing is done about it, well, you have in the distance a few young men are also exercising at the bank of the river where it connects to the sea. This has been Keep an Eye, coming to you live from the Central Region, Baka Anu to be specific. My name once again is your Chief Laborer, Darrell Allen. Take it over, Valerie.
Thank you. And the Chief Laborer brought us that report from Bakano all the way in the Central Region. The show is made possible by our Wake Purified Water. I Don't Go Next Level Energy Drink. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, T will be sitting down with Dr. John Kumar, the Deputy Minister of Finance and MP. Just so we're going to talk about the e-levy and all you need to know. We'll take a quick break.
Alan or Jay?
CAF. I'm going back to CAF. And the gentleman.
Well, thank you very much, Valerie. So, interesting report there from Cape Coast with Alan. And before we go into the e-levy conversation, just quick notes on the Ghana card. Have you re-registered your SIM cards? Doctor?
Yes.
You've done?
We didn't have a choice.
So you're re-registered?
But I have not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. So are you looking forward to the process? Because they should be coming to you. Why do you have to go and
Well, I'm an ordinary Ghanaian citizen, so I will walk to wherever they have to do it. But I hope when they see me, they say, "Oh, this man, let's consider him."
He's one of the known faces in Ghana.
Yeah, so they'll consider you. Quick notes on Coach Milo. The Milo van has left. GFA will be naming a new coach soon. What are your thoughts?
I think that was expected, and it is the right thing to have done, very moral thing to have done. When our own people don't perform, we kick them. So if foreign national doesn't perform, we don't have to keep them there. I have always been against this notion of Ghana taking a foreign coach. I mean, we talk about made in Ghana goods and made in Ghana materials, and then we still want to depend on foreign coaches. I think that it's about time we get some within ourselves to handle our guys. And we still have people there, except that we don't encourage the Ghanaian coaches. I've always felt like when we take a Ghanaian coach, we don't treat them well. We don't treat them well. We don't treat them well at all. And that is why they seem to underperform. They are not empowered, they are not encouraged, they are not motivated. And that is why the children. But like having said that, what is happening to Desai?
Desai, I don't think he's interested. We want him. It's a good question to ask when we get him.
He's one gentleman that I think has gone through the trail and somebody that can really do well. And if we are looking for somebody with an international exposure, he's got it.
Yeah, and his colleagues in the 1998 World Cup, all coaches, I mean, the French coaches, his colleagues.
No, he's got what it takes. He's got what it takes. I remember having a chat with him some time ago. Okay. And of course, I think it's just because he's not probably been motivated concerning this thing.
Well, he's looking at the Ghana system and saying, Charlie,
he doesn't want to feel that. But I think it's one gentleman that we seem to be losing sight of. He can be talked into this.
Okay.
He's been there, he's gone through, he's got what it takes, he's got a pedigree, and he's not a poor young man.
No.
So he's not the type who will come and say, give me 1,000 cities before I feature you and things. And so let's get people like that. But having said that, we have a lot of coaches. I think that from the count on that I have, at least there are 10 Ghanaian coaches that we can pick from.
Okay, gentlemen, I wish you the very best. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Anytime he comes here, I have to add the reverend because it takes must add founder and president of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach, and Sheikh Aremi Yao Shaibu, spokesperson for the National Chief Imam. Nima Mamubi, any developments?
Well, currently there's ongoing discussion because we have tried to view the thing more from a broader perspective, not for Nima and Mamubi alone. Developing gangsterism within the larger Muslim Zongo communities is a threat to society, threat to our security and our safety. And it's something that we need to sit down. We are thinking that security aspects need to be brought on board, imams, chiefs within our communities, psychologists, in fact, social psychologists need to be brought on board for us to look at both short, medium, and long-term solution to this. The criminality alone is not enough a solution.
Holistic.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck when you get to Apiati. Thank you very much. The E-Levy conversation is coming up after this. Will it only affect Momo? Will it affect your bank transfers? Will it affect your ATM transactions? Will E-Levy affect your online purchases, the things you buy online? Will it affect it? Will it affect your personal account to account transfers? Will it affect your online business? How will it do all of that? Your E-Levy questions coming up next. We have Dr. John Ampontua Kuma, MP for Ejisu and Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. And he's here for you to answer all your questions. You'll be seeing me by the screen, reading all your questions on E-Levy. Let's settle it here, all right? You stay with us. Do not go anywhere. That conversation with Tamataki up next.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Yes. Beep, beep, beep. I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Joe, where are you? Timmy, where is Daddy?
I don't know.
Joe! Please, have you seen my husband?
No, please.
Hey, Sir. Joe, is that how you are? Timmy and myself, we've been looking everywhere for you.
It's malaria. I tested positive.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's malaria. He needs Atenate.
Atenate is an anti-malarial that comes in small caplets for adults and flavored suspension for children.
I'll give it to my husband myself.
Let her take care of me.
I'll take care of you.
Thank you. Okay.
It's okay, baby. Don't worry, okay? Daddy is not going anywhere again.
Atenate, your ultimate quality ACT anti-malarial, is available in the pharmacy and over-the-counter medicine shop near you. Test for malaria before treatment. If symptoms persist after 3 days of treatment, please consult your doctor. Atenate, see malaria quine. This article is
Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African.
Yeah. Can I show what is written on the box?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Botras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Studio One. This is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning. It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Botras, yeah? At that time.
This year, I say, Say ba ebe affect mobile money adwuma no wan hwe kra na adwuma ye ti hanu aye no na akoye ye Canada ye can say na aye waste of ye ti hanu sa akwa because say he live no eba pe enya ma kra no amafo busa say ano da be na ma start here say almost start pe na o yi ni sika nyina free ne wallet na or there are two bank nti menim mpinifo no mo hwe ma omo cancel say in free ho na eja because yesu adwuma ye aye de didin eni nti se mo de say in ba de a na omo pese yesu ye adwuma no ye de egu na inkoti na fie nti yesra mo hwe ma omo kan bibi emfa ho
level asame aban academy dem me jo am menti ase o menti ala nti be send me scan wa ba we tax also and no sorry to say make any sense because anything be send me scan na some tax and free so no like it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, to me inquiry as a Ghanaian there 11 no am say me many aban na adwene many aban na adwene kire say obaha am say omo aye budget bebele parliament 11 nka say account but budget aye parliament na bia no am say Ghana for akasa ho bebele say particular 11 nti kire say aban ni hu say Ghana for ye nya dey anya adwene abasa 11 na ode ba no amwa Ghana for nti be ye omunya no munya dey ensesa bibi omunya bibi emfa ho
say penifo no dwon say bebo o man dia omfamla say amwa de omuntwa so na mo parliamentarians no mo ko parliament house say kamenko dia ke saka omunyina omo kwen no ke saka omunyina because as a member of parliament I wokota na semra na ye ni so a wakota na woko mimnita ntokwane obi ko a yetuna so entomodi aso twene de ma wo mo enti 11 de ba se ba omo hwe na se bebo o man no kwa de amefo aso se mo o man na timamufo de omuntwa so madwen che no
na se mo de tu so Ghana fo bebre so enti ase because ade ne enti de enti a mo de tax e beto sa 11 so because already mobile money tu ya juice ka ye so ya juice ka inde say na ase chance so mo de beto ye so de say omo chechire mu bebre che Ghana fo because enti ase pitiwa na ye de bibia beto ye so na Ghana fo ye tua ana tax kwamba so ya jeje wo maimu akwambo ye hunyoma bebre ba omo de ye nyina akonkofo botom nti 11 de me de akamenya akomu ntwa because Ghana fo ye ho se ye ho kire yen
o petuo na se wo de aboa oman ana o petuo na se de wo de aibo oman ne ho bla enye ye ne esika ye be sende so emfa so na wo jeje ade abo oman ne ho de ebra but to na oyi free wo no se adoba fo nko free be de na minimu oto mu ni se omo jiji to no no mo boaboa no ese bia ya kwan se ya omo de asiesie ana so mo pese omo yi kwan etu ba bia se sika no ma boaboa no agu no na wo de ayede na mo de asiesie sisi ana adoba fo na mo ye kwan mo no mo wi suka e de fa so no omo no ayi omo no de na ayede afiri wo na me individual me gina me wi suka no na se wo ba gigi me sika se me de na kakra na maboa no na me de send ya mo obi no wo ti bi afiri so de bo man no bra se wo benya sika na de akoye lol kwan ama obi ono atoka de abefa so na se me na me wi suka no wo gi mi sika akoye sa de na ono wi suka no to 1 cedi na 2 cedi se wo twa na de yes ade no man no so wo yes na aba no be se sabi wo pe se obi ye kwase akakra e ko me gina mi nika a me de ba ko fa lol kwan so even before obi ka kra mi tua ne ka no waji mi huska endini sa wo peska na de abo oman ne ho bla we ni de ka mesra aban de se emu e orem kakra
yenya ye mpanimfo sa ni school ni anti mi ankwa anu akiri enti sa de na mo se afra ni se elevio se ho na e ba no ye nma ya anko school ni ye nim ni e ba ti esra aba ni se pa ni chopi omo mra bonte no omo mekire ye mu ni ehu sa ni e ba abaye ni enso ye nti ye ho ase
eye
Views from members of the public on government's plans to impose a levy on electronic transfers, which government is telling us will enhance its revenue mobilization as it seeks to broaden the tax net. One of the main complaints has always been that people perhaps do not understand exactly what the e-levy is about and perhaps do not appreciate government's position very well. So the Minister for Finance has been on a drive to engage stakeholders and to give people the opportunity to know more about this e-levy and to answer some questions. Of course, the controversial levy is what caused some of the tensions and the scenes that we witnessed in Parliament before the session for the first sitting was went for a break, and then now that the House has resumed sitting, we expect that that will dominate at least some of the conversations. The Finance Ministry has expressed willingness to engage stakeholders and to embark on public education, even as some members of the public appear to be against the payment of the e-levy. At the table this morning, we are seeking to understand exactly why government is pushing ahead with this agenda. And I have at the table the Deputy Minister in charge of Finance, Dr. John Kuma, who is also MP for the people of Edreso. Good morning, Honorable, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thanks for honoring the invitation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we started off with what we just played for you, the Vox Pop, with members of the public telling you basically about their understanding and impression so far about the e-levy.
Yes.
Does it give you an indication of the level of engagement and education you need to make where this is concerned?
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers. I think that listening to the concerns that was raised, it gives me hope, because many of them they are talking from a position of desire to understand what it is that the e-levy will imply for them. And I think that is the more reason why we are all going out there to engage the public and to explain to them. Unfortunately, they have heard more about the propaganda on what the e-levy is not than what the e-levy is. And clearly, by the time maybe we finish the program, we explain to them what e-levy entails, especially the merchant, the Momo merchant, who was a bit uncertain about his business. I want to assure him and all Momo users that e-levy is not going to disrupt their business. It's rather going to enhance their business, because government is further going to invest in digital infrastructure in the country with the e-levy. So it's rather going to promote his business, and he shouldn't have those concerns at all.
For most people, it's a levy or a tax that is new, and so the initial reaction is to resist.
Yes.
You're saying that perhaps they do not understand the parameters of the levy.
Exactly.
But we've heard that any amount beyond the 100 Ghana cedis that is moving from perhaps one mobile money account to another is going to attract the 1.75% levy. So what don't we understand about that?
Okay, so let's put it in perspective. Nobody likes to pay tax. And I have never seen any tax introduced where people accepted it and were happy about it. So that's the kind of issue we are dealing with, where people naturally do not want to pay tax. And like the lady said, why do you want to take taxes from me when I'm receiving money on my Momo? So it is that kind of lack of patriotic responsibility that people don't see, that even though they expect a lot from government in terms of their road infrastructure, the education and health facilities, they don't know that they have to contribute, okay, just by your right of citizenship. It is also your right of responsibility and obligation to contribute to tax so that we can build the country. So let us take it from there, that people naturally do not pay tax, or they do not like paying new taxes. So, but that is about it. At the end of the day, we must all understand that as a nation, and like all other nations, it is the taxes and revenues that we will collect in our country that we can spend and build this nation with. So, unfortunately, people may not love to pay tax, but government doesn't have a choice. We will still have to raise these revenues so that we can provide the necessary social and economic infrastructure for the country to grow.
So what is it and what is it not?
Okay, thank you. So e-levy, what it is? E-levy is a new digital tax, electronic tax that government is introducing as a new tax handle. And the foundation is that in just the last 2 years, government has invested so much in the digital space that even Momo transactions alone has grown from 70 billion cedis in the last 2 years to 900 billion cedis.
So it's time to cash in?
No, what it means is that economic transaction has gravitated towards digital space. So if government goes to the market to look for tax, he may not get it as much as if he goes now to where the business or economic activity is taking place. Economic activity today is more digital. That is what it means. And especially with COVID and lockdowns and all the social distancing things that have happened, people have now gone digital with their businesses. So if you're a government, the only way you get your revenues or the tax to build the country is to also go digital and take an aspect of the economic activities that is going on there. So that is the background to it. Now what we are saying is that we did a research and we found out that especially Momo users, some of them will be affected when you introduce, they'll be too sensitive to tax on Momo. So we found out that about 40% of Momo users do not transact businesses above 100 Ghana cedis a day. And so we extended that 100 Ghana cedis to cover all 100% Momo users so that we can cover the poor or the much sensitive group to this tax. So they are not going to be affected. Okay, so if you're a market woman or you use Momo to trotro driver to engage or a cocoa seller to do your business, up to 100 Ghana cedis a day, this transaction is not going to affect you. Okay, and even if you accumulate it in a month, that's about 3,000 Ghana cedis. And we know that in Ghana, if you earn above 3,000 Ghana cedis, you cannot be classified as poor. Okay, so we should understand that whether you are poor or you are rich, you still have responsibility or obligation as a citizen to still contribute your quota to the building of the country in terms of taxes. But in this instance, we have said that let's protect the poor or the too sensitive group to the Momo. So up to 100 Ghana cedis, you are not going to pay. And then when you are moving Momo from your wallet to your bank account on your same phone, government is not going to tax you. Okay.
So you have a bank app on your phone.
Yes.
And you're moving funds from the bank app
to
into
your
Momo wallet.
You are not going to be taxed.
The 1.75 will not be charged.
It will not be charged on that. And then the reverse. You have money on your wallet, you want to move into your bank account, it's not going to be charged on that. Okay. And then also when I have sent money to my mother in the village, or the lady who spoke that she has received money on her Momo, are we going to charge her? The answer is no. So the recipient of the Momo is not going to pay anything on the funds he has received on his account. So if I send Momo to my grandmother or mother in the village, I, the sender, will pay the 1.75 after the 100 Ghana cedis. But my mother or my grandmother, who is the recipient of the funds, doesn't pay anything on it.
But if the mother is engaging in any means of money transactions online, and perhaps she uses that amount to purchase medication from the pharmacy or any other service or goods, as a sender, she pays the levy again. Which brings up the topic of what people are calling double taxation. Is that a fair analysis?
They don't understand. Okay, so let's say I give you 100 cedis. Or the same mother, I send 100 cedis. She decides to buy fuel to the house. The tax on the fuel, will she not pay? So where is the double taxation? It's just misapplication of terms people have heard. You understand? Once you receive the funds and you enter a supermarket, let's say it's even your salary that you have already paid your income tax. You just enter the supermarket and you want to buy an item. The taxes on those items, are you not going to pay? Because you have already paid income tax on your income. Is that what they are talking about?
So if I'm understanding you properly, if you get a salary on which you've already paid taxes via even before the e-levy is taken out, let's assume that it's put into your bank account,
yes,
and you're transferring some of that money to somebody else, not to your own mobile money wallet. You're transferring it to somebody else, which will then attract the 1.75%.
Yes, because
tax. It's not double taxation.
No, it's not
even
double taxation.
if you paid your taxes already, or they've been deducted before
not
it hits your account.
Not at all, because you are using the convenience of the service. Okay, government has invested in the digital space. You know, now we have interoperability. It didn't just happen. And Ghana level of development in the money, mobile money space is one of the most developed in the world compared to other places. And this interoperability, where from your phone to my phone on different accounts you can operate, has come as a result of huge investment from government, okay, to create convenience and digital transactions in the system. So you are just contributing to this tax payment for the use of that service. It is not like you have money on your account and without anything government is taking. It's just like I said, people misapplying terms they have heard, called something called double taxation. As if when you take your salary and you pay income tax and you want to buy fuel in your car, we say that because you have already taken tax on your income, the taxes on the fuel you don't have to pay. That is not the reality of life everywhere. Then you can define double taxation in every circumstances. That is not so. So when you enter a restaurant and they bring you a VAT for the food you have purchased, because you have already paid income tax on your salary, you will say that, oh, I have paid income tax, so the food I've ate and I've eaten and the bill you have brought, I'm not going to pay the VAT. Or you enter a hotel and there's a bill to pay with VAT, and you are saying because I've paid income tax, if I pay VAT on the hotel service, then I'm also paying double tax. That is just misapplication of terms people have heard.
There are many questions that I would have posed to you, including the fact that your partners in lawmaking, especially in the House of Lawmaking MPs, have resisted this very, very vehemently, and it has led to some unsightly scenes that we witnessed on the floor of the House. They are calling for, if not a scrap of the levy in its entirety, perhaps a reduction in the number that is being proposed by the government. Is this something that you've taken on board, especially when we are hearing that you're having consultations and engagement? In fact, from here you'll be going to Kofodia for one such event.
Yes.
Is it something that you are considering to bring the percentage down, if not taking it off entirely?
Well, yes, it's something that we have heard, and like I said, I believe that since the introduction of the e-levy to Parliament and today, a lot more people have come to understand the need to have the e-levy in order to have a strong fiscal space and to be able to address the three major important issues of youth and employment situation through the U-Start, the 10 billion facility for job creation, and then the aggressive road construction that we are talking about, and then also to limit our debt burden. The borrowing levels must come down. Now, we have heard the concerns from people that say, oh, why is it 1.75? Can't government do something about it? And well, because of that, the finance minister engaged the telcos, and they too, in the interest of burden sharing and also contributing to the nation development, have agreed to reduce their charges by 25%. So that brings down the impact, but it allows government to have the full scale of the expected revenues it has projected in the appropriation bill, so that we will be able to do all the things that government has projected within the year, should we pass it in Parliament. So yes, it's not like we had it and we rubbished it. We had it, we took steps to achieve the same results without reducing the volumes of expected revenues to government. And so something has been done about it.
Right. I have my own ton of questions, but you also have yours, and we are going to give you the opportunity to put them to the Deputy Finance Minister, the Honourable John Kuma, who represents the people of Edriso in Parliament. And the best way to ensure that your comments are read by us is to keep it short and to the point, and please mind your language when you send the messages. 0555561034, and Kath is standing by to read some of them now.
Okay, so I'm going to read all the e-levy questions. There are some non-e-levy questions that we'll put at the very end, but for right now, the focus is on e-levy. Thelma, you read my mind, says Trisha. My daughter's remittances are every month on a Momo from the UK towards my medication. Will that mean that my money will drop drastically and it's going to affect me badly? I'll take 3 questions. Remittances from abroad. How does e-levy affect them? So that's one question.
Okay.
Second question, there was one question on if I have 1,000 CDs on my phone and each time I send 200 CDs, what's the deduction? Is the 1.75? What is it on? So he has 1,000 CDs, and every time he's sending 200 CDs, what will he be paying? Okay. That's a very practical question. I think I like those kind of questions because it makes it very easy for you to just understand. So third question, and then we'll get your responses. So let's answer those 2 first.
Okay. So first of all, remittances are exempted.
Okay.
So remittances that come in outside Ghana are not charged on the e-levy.
Okay.
And when she's withdrawing from her phone, withdrawals are not covered. So she'll be exempted from the e-levy.
So my cousin in California sends me money and it comes on my phone.
On your phone.
What happens?
It will be seen as remittance. So it is not covered.
But does the sender pay?
The sender will not pay because he's in California. He's not in Ghana.
Okay.
But if you are in Ghana and you are sending, you are within our jurisdiction, you will pay.
So if you are in Accra and you are sending money to your mother
in-law or your mother in the village, you will pay after the first 100 Ghana. But your mother will receive the full sum that you have sent. So the money for her medical bills, she will get the full amount that...
so if someone was sending 1,000 CDs perhaps to another party, the charge would be taken
by from the sender.
From the sender. It means that the receiver will not get 1,000 CDs. It will be 1,000 minus the network charges and the e-levy.
Well, if you choose to pay the charges, and it's done now, currently, when you are sending without e-levy, you're already paying 1%. And when you are receiving, you are paying 1%. So the sender can still tell you, I want to receive my 1,000. So pay the difference of maybe 1 CD or 2 CD on it. It's already there. It's not like a new thing we are introducing. So if you choose to take the bill, then you add it. If you want to deduct it from the charges, then it will affect it.
It brings us to the next question of multiple sending of monies above the 100 Ghana cedis.
So
if I have 1,000, like Kaf go on.
He has 1,000 cedis and he's sending 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 5 times.
Okay.
How much tax is he going to pay?
1.75 times 5 is what he's asking.
It's not about the many times you do. Okay. I will do the 1,000 cedis and I will do on 100 cedis. So that people will appreciate the multiple times.
Okay.
If you are sending 100 cedis, 20 cedis, 20 cedis, 20 cedis, 20 cedis in a day, you are still exempted.
Okay.
Even if it's 5 times. And it's 100 cedis, up to 100 cedis. It doesn't matter whether you did it 10 times or 5 times or 20 times. It's up to the seal of 100 cedis. You are exempted. But if it's 1,000 and you are doing 200, 200, the first 100 cedis is free. But any other transaction within the day, you are going to pay on the extra.
So for this gentleman who is looking for the answers, if he sends 200 cedis 5 times a day, he will pay the 1.75 5 times on each transaction.
On each 100.
On after each of the 100 cedis.
Yes. So if he's sending 200, the first 100 is exempted. And then the second 100 will attract a 1.75%.
So it's 100 cedis daily. So if you exceed 100 a day, it means only the first 100 cedis is exempted. So any other 100 you pay beyond the first 100 cedis attracts the 1.7.
Yes.
So for that question, it means that the first 200 cedis will be minus 100, which is exempt, but the first 100 would pay, and he would pay on the other 100s as well. Is my understanding, and the minister can correct me if I'm wrong. We saw just on our scene now an analysis that someone puts forward about what the addition of the e-levy would be with the current mobile operators' charges on the transactions. And so if Honorable Minister, you can see on your screen, if you're sending a Momo value of 150 Ghana cedis, then without the e-levy, you're paying the telco's charge, which came on before the 25% they offered of 1 cedi and 50 pesos. With the e-levy, which is 1.75, the charge then becomes 4.13 Ghana.
Exactly.
They are basing this, I presume, on.
It's not true. This is not
analogy.
True. Because the first 100 cedis in the 150 will not be charged.
Yes.
So 100 cedis on that will not be charged. But
so
the 50 will be.
You can't tell me 1.75 or 50 Ghana cedis gave you the 4 cedis. It's not true.
Okay. All right, let's go back to our messages, please.
Go on.
I have my Momo wallet based on MTN's promise of keeping my money electronically. Why charge 1.75% when I intend to use my money? So Prosper wants to know why. See, what is the basis for the 1.75?
It goes back. Every money you have that is taxed is your money, but as a citizen, it's your responsibility to contribute to nation building, and that is how all other nations are built. So yes, the emphasis on my money is your money, but it's also the state's money because you are a citizen of the country, and everybody is obliged to contribute. So if they want to see why government is taking a tax, it is the fact of your citizenship and the fact that you are supposed to contribute to nation building. Okay. But maybe they want to see a service which is being provided. And even if that is their understanding, government is providing education, health, schools, infrastructure, roads. We are not talking about roads, infrastructure. We are talking about all the things. And this same person saying that government is charging on my money, the next day when his tap is not flowing, he will say, or if there's doomso, why is the electricity not on? You're right to say, my light must be on, I don't want doomso. You're right to say, I want water to flow in my tap when I open it. It's because of these contributions you are making so that the country can run.
More questions, 055-556-1034. If an e-wallet is likened to a physical wallet, what would you call money in a wallet? Is it capital or earnings? I think this is almost like some finance question.
Yes, people misinterpret all kinds of these things. They say that e-levy is taxing capital. That's false. It's never true that e-levy is taxing your capital.
Why do you say so?
We say so because, like I explained, if you have your income and you enter the supermarket and you are purchasing, you are still going to pay tax on it anyway. That one you are comfortable paying. You don't see that one as a charge on your capital. How do we define a capital? Okay, then you have to state in your transactions where that capital is and where that transaction normal payment for services is. But we know that Momo transactions are paid for goods and services. They are not for capital.
Do you dispute the fact that some people actually use monies in their e-wallets as capital for their businesses?
No, I'm not disputing that. But I'm saying that
in that
your
case, how do we differentiate between the ones that people will be using for businesses and the personal for goods and services?
You don't have to differentiate when it comes to tax. Okay. It's like the cement seller, okay, who has a working capital of 10,000 Ghana cedis. He can buy 10 bags of cement. And then the next day, there's a tax introduced on, say, fuel. And it affects the price of cement. So instead of buying 10 bags, he can now buy maybe 8 bags. It has affected his capital. But it's not a tax on his capital. Okay. I don't know if you get the picture.
I do.
But all taxes have implications for people's income.
Perhaps I can
So they should stop saying this is capital taxation. This is not a capital tax. Right. And this is not the way they are defining it.
Let me see if there's a link here. So Thanos is reaching us from our Twitter platform. So you can use the hashtag GTV Breakfast and the hashtag e-levy so we can find all the comments you're sending us on Twitter. So it kind of feeds in, I think, to what you were saying. Can you ask the minister the logic behind my already taxed salary being taxed again because I moved money to my phone to make life easier, not to forget the 19.5% tax component on most products I buy. The question then which someone else has asked is, if the revenues that we are raising from all our other resources is not enough to bring us the developments that we need, does it point to a question of better management which should be in place or more taxes? Because if gold, timber, cocoa and the rest have not brought us the monies, why would we think that e-levies would do it for us when gold has failed, when cocoa has failed, and when timber has failed, according to what we are hearing.
When people say gold has failed, timber has failed, I don't know their definition of failure. Ghana hasn't failed. And all the expenditure we do in a year, we see the results.
Perhaps if I understand
Let me go into it. I understand the question.
The people who are text,
yes,
so these are questions we are getting.
Yes, but I accept that I want to say we haven't failed, so we shouldn't say gold has failed. Maybe we haven't gotten the extent of revenues that we want. But let me tell you, to understand where we are, let's compare what others are doing. When you go to Europe, the average tax to their revenues is about 35 to 40%. When you come to Africa, let's do Africa, it's about 25%. When you come to Sub-Saharan Africa, let's say West African region, it's between 16 to 20%. Ghana is between 11 to 12% in the last 5 years in terms of the taxes that we collect. We are so down in terms of levels of contribution in taxes and the revenues that we have to raise in the country. So something has to be done to raise it up. And so when they say that, is it not enough? The answer is that yes, it's not enough. We have to do something about the volumes of revenues that we raise in this country.
So the revenues we are getting from our mineral resources and it's not enough to take us there, but the e-levy can
it will help.
In.
And e-levy helps us to get to about 16% with all the appropriation, the revenues and the expenditures that we expect to collect. E-levy is contributing and helping Ghana to raise up to 16%, which is still not even enough.
I have a question, but CAF has more,
it's
so
a good impact.
Let's pick.
Yeah, it's just a ton of questions. We should keep you here.
Let's explain to them.
So, somebody asking, sending 1,000 cedis for his daughter's upkeep and wants to know what the tax component is. So, if you're sending 1,000, the first 100 is free. It's 900 cedis, which is 15.75 cedis. We just did that. So if you're sending 1,000 cedis, you would pay 15.75, which is 1.75 on the 900, because the first 100 is free. Okay, lots more messages coming in. 055 556 1034. Deputy Finance Minister is talking as if the citizenry isn't doing enough when it comes to taxation. Is the e-levy going to be the only tax on Ghanaians? Obviously, it's not. You say, let them run from that assumption that revenue from e-levy will be used to promote entrepreneurship. And he believes that it's a big lie. He wants to know what happened to NEIP and ICE. So that's one question for you. And then there's another question. So we've been mining for decades. Why don't we put up a gold factory in a very big gold market in Ghana where we'll manufacture our own gold and instead of taxing the citizens? So that's two questions there for you there. So
yes,
what the assumption that is going to be used for entrepreneurship, what happened to NEIP?
NEIP has done a lot for this country, trained over 45,000 entrepreneurs in Ghana and funded about 10,000 of them with capital. You can confirm this from their website, www.neip.gov.gh. And you know His Excellency has invested millions of cedis in young startups in our country. So we are only seeking to scale that up by introducing YouStart, which is a budget of about 10 billion cedis, so that we can help more young people to have access to patient capital. And that is a good and laudable initiative to support.
As more people, let me throw one in there. As more people ask for more from the government, and government struggles to come up with the required funds, hence the need for the
more
levy
revenues
that you're asking for. Others are also pointing out the fact that there should be expenditure cuts.
Yes.
And there are more funds being lost through corruption. For example, the Auditor General's report is telling us that it's in the millions, if not more. And a lot of money is going down the drains there.
Yes.
So why not plug the systems and get the, I think the Crusader, there is one of the CEOs is saying it's about 12.8 billion Ghana cedis that was lost to corruption last year, according to the Auditor General's report.
Well, it wasn't lost to corruption. You see, we have to be very careful how we use these terms. And sometimes we have brought some of these difficulties upon ourselves because of our own laws. You have an Auditor General who himself was captured as being corrupt because he used 7 million Ghana cedis to purchase about 8 cars for his office. Everybody could see the cars, but the procurement processes were not followed. So it will be tagged as wasteful expenditure or corrupt or lost. But we should be clear about when people are not able to provide receipts for services and goods that they have purchased from monies that have gone waste. I don't believe Ghana lost 12 billion to corruption. And when you read the Auditor General's report, it's talking about irregularities, lack of receipting, but they can even point to, you see, the laws we have is such that if in my office, we need water, and you come and I have shown you that, yes, we needed water, we bought the water, this is the water. The auditor is not interested in the object you have bought and the price. He's interested in how the process is, who supplied it, what was the procedure, sole sourcing or competitive bidding, where are the receipts. So even though you have evidence to show that you have legitimately used the funds and can show proof of it, it will still be captured as funds lost. And so let not people make noise that 12 billion has been wasted. Yes, there will be portions of it that could be lost to corruption, but it's not true that we lost 12 billion to corruption. Let's separate these two scenarios. Also, the question of cutting expenditure, I perfectly agree. And the finance minister has announced that going forward this year, we are going to cut expenditure by 20%. And it will be earmarked to revenue performance. So we are not going to spend more than we are receiving. Okay. And so I agree with those who say that cut down on expenditure. Let's stay within our means. When you don't raise, don't spend. When you raise, you spend. Okay. That is something, it's a good thing that we are doing.
Many questions. Yep. So somebody wants to know, if he or she uses Momo in buying something from a supermarket, is that correct?
If he's using
Momo, he's paying for, he goes to a shopping mall and buys stuff from the mall and uses Momo to make the payment.
No, so those POS what do we call it? POS payments are all exempted.
John from Kaja wants to know why we always have to compare ourselves with the Europeans. You made some.
Tell him it's a global. Yes, unfortunately, it's a global world, and the standards is the same whether you are in America or you are in Ghana. And what we are going through is not different. America created $1.9 trillion to shore up their economy, and they are taxing their people. The rate of tax to their revenue is about 45%.
Civil servant wants to know what happens to the
civil servant. 12% and we are crying.
Okay. So a civil servant wants to know what happens to the civil servant who is already being taxed on salary.
Yes.
Say, well, the e-levy concedes that the e-levy is good for increasing the tax net. However, it's the same civil servant who is being stretched. Is there any plan to file tax returns for those paying more?
Well, obviously, it's part of our laws. At the end of the year, if you can file your tax returns to show that you are entitled to tax incentives, you can receive it.
What percentage of the e-levy, what percentage of the budget will the e-levy cater for when it's introduced?
What percentage of the budget?
Yes.
Well, 7 billion is about 60 total revenues we are expecting.
Now, somebody wants to know whether the closure of the tolls is linked to the introduction of the e-levy.
Yes.
And they want to know why the tolls were closed at that time.
The tolls were giving Ghana 78 million Ghana cedis every year. E-levy will give us about 6.9 billion, and about 1.1 billion will be committed to the road infrastructure. So we believe that we can give more convenience to Ghanaians and take more revenues from e-levy to replace the road toll.
But some say it's a sure bet, it's a bird in hand, and so it could have been kept around, especially with all the agitations from the toll collectors that now has landed at the table of government to try and figure out to keep that in place while the consensus and the stakeholders meetings are ongoing to resolve the issues or to, shape up the concerns around the e-levy.
Yes, we
because now we're losing X amount of money monthly, whilst the e-levy monies have not even started coming in. So financial loss to the state is what some say.
Yes, there's always a sacrifice to give in order to gain something. And as government, we believe that at least 3 strong grounds why we removed the road tolls. We thought the inconvenience of traffic and the cost to production was too high. We thought it was inequitable. Those who were living in the asphaltic areas like Cantonments, Laboni, Adjregano, you never saw road toll there. It is the poor communities, Kaswa, Ashamai, Besianse, Atiwa, those were the people paying the road toll, farmers going to their farms. Okay, and the rich people were enjoying the asphaltic road. So we thought it was inequitable, it was inconvenient to people, and so we should scratch it, we should scrap it and replace it with e-levy, which covers everybody, whether you're a judge, a farmer, or a marketer. Everybody who uses Momo can contribute. And for us, it brings in more revenue than the
So the sacrifice of a few months is worth...
Oh, it's worth, yes, it's worth.
Will my nursing training allowance be taxed if I go for it at the bank?
No, withdrawing it, it will not.
Withdrawing will not tax it.
No.
So many things. There's no need for the e-levy. Look at the leakages in the public sector. Finance Minister presented the 2022 budget. Road Minister ordered stoppage of road tolls. What then happened to the 2021 budget? Finance Minister presented to Parliament in 2020.
I don't get the question.
Does the closure of the toll booths exempt foreign vehicles that ply our roads?
No, the foreign vehicles are not exempt. They still go through the weighing scale, and that's where they pay their charges and fees.
Okay. A lot of people are asking whether the conversation is linked to the non-payment of the NAPCO allowances. It keeps coming.
NAPCO allowances will be paid. I think it's at the controller, and they will be paid.
Have they made a request for the money?
Yes, releases are done to controller, so they will be paid.
How soon should we expect
that
the payments
to be made? I cannot give a date now.
And is it 2 months or 4 months? Because they want to know.
They'll be paid.
They'll be paid. For how many? I mean, is it for the 2 extra months?
Oh, no, they will be paid the arrears.
They'll be paid the arrears. Okay, more messages are coming in. It's a lot of questions here. 0255-556-1030. I have a concern. Every society in the world is encouraging cashless policy, including Europeans, which you mentioned. But this e-levy will... If I have cash and I want to use... Or what do you think? This is one example.
No,
they believe that
not true.
Will it promote
cash
movements? Because it's happened in some countries where they realize that
everybody gets money under the
No,
event.
you see, that comparison cannot fit the Ghana
system. We can't compare with them. But we're comparing with Europe.
No, listen.
We're comparing with Europe. Why can't we compare with African countries?
No,
who
I'm saying that,
drop?
we can compare, but I'm saying you can distinguish the Ghana situation. The problem is that we are already paying e-levy. When you send it's 1%, people already know about it. When you receive, you pay. And we are saying that those countries, they did not even exclude the vulnerable, sensitive group, which we have done to cover almost 100% of Momo users, up to 100, you are not paying. And so the level of development of Momo and digitalization in Ghana, which has now reached 900 billion, the volumes and the level of development, yes, we did attrition rate was about 24% when you introduce. A few people initially will not or would attempt to avoid the usage of Momo. But that the research told us about 24%, which we have also factored in our revenue projection. But in the end, after a while, they will still be back on and find that it is easier to still use your Momo than to keep the cash on you.
So it's easier to keep the Momo in hand because it's something that you can control. Same arguments have been made for the road tolls. And one of our viewers, Stephen P.K. Kwanzaa, on Twitter is asking, so collapsed toll booths which can simply be automated and have eyes turn on e-levy affecting Momo transactions, which is highly used by the poor, unemployed and frustrated masses. Leadership should cut down their salaries and bonuses rather than Momo tax.
Yes, I agree on all the cuts in expenditure. I agree that road toll was bringing some money, but we felt that replacing it with higher amount of money that will help us to do more roads was better. And the cost of the funds we're receiving, 78 million in the whole year, compared to the inconvenience and traffic and the inequity of where rich people don't pay and poor people are paying.
What about the suggestion to automate then?
Yes, and automation of the road toll system will come. It will not still take the inequity situation from it. And then also, going forward, government is trying to do PPP on our roads. So if a private company agrees with government to construct a private road, not funded by government, by private funds, then they can automate and charge road toll. But you must have a choice of government roads versus the private roads. And then you can pay your roto if you want.
More questions. It's like I'm in a maths class. If I send 1,000 CDs 3 times in a day, how would that be done? We already did the calculation.
Digital calculation is done. Doesn't matter how many times you send. The system.
Only the first 100
Only
is
the
exempt.
first 100 is exempt.
So let's just break it down for that person. So the first, that 1,000 CDs, 100 will be free, and then the 900 will be taxed at 1.75, which is 15.75 CDs tax. So if you did that 1,000 3 times, you pay 15.75 times 3. Is that correct?
No. Your 15.75 is on all the 900.
Yes.
So it means you reduce it. If you did 300, you pay half of that, 1/3.
So the person is doing 1,000 3 times in a day.
1,000 3 times in a day.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first, that 1,000, it will be 15.75.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Then it's
the next 1,000 is
so.
15.75.
It's so, on the 1,000.
Did I read somewhere that for merchants, so for people who have merchant mobile money accounts, they are not in.
No, yes.
So
merchant
no matter how
accounts are
much
exempted.
you are sending from a merchant account to another number,
it's exempted.
It's exempt.
Yes.
Okay. What will happen if people stop Momo transactions? Will you still get the revenue you're expecting?
We will encourage them to continue to use it. And like I said, we should be proud that we are contributing to building our country. It is not every time that we want to expect somebody to come and give us handouts. So the little 1.75 we are contributing is what is giving us the kind of Ghana where we will have constant supply of electricity, good roads, job creation for our youth, and many other things that we look out for.
Someone is asking, he says, we are still not taxing income of those trading online. And so this tax to some extent will not be. So those who are trading online,
it will capture them.
E-levy will capture them?
Yes, it's a digital transaction. It will capture online trading.
Okay. Will the telcos still stick to their Momo charges? Because we keep forgetting that the telcos also have their charges which add up to the E-level. So how does that work? For now, they are still charging us.
Yes, they are still charging, but they have agreed to reduce by 25%.
Okay. So if I send my 1,000 CDs, what will be tax for me will be my E-levy and then the telco charge as well.
Exactly.
So the E-levy is going to sit on top of the telco charge.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you're getting the education. Any more questions?
And that's why I'm saying we shouldn't be afraid, because already the telcos have already introduced E-levy and people are still using E-levy in the volumes that we are seeing. So this 1.75 is not going to be such a new thing to Ghanaians, and we just have to manage it. But I want to encourage people that it is our pride of place to say that we, through our contributions, are building a country for ourselves.
Somebody wants to know why you don't take this E-levy from the Momo merchants or the Momo companies. Why the individual?
No, that will be an attack on private investment. We don't want to do that.
You prefer to attack the customer?
No, remember, people have brought investment into your country. And if you say they are making profits, so you are taking their profits from them, they will take their investment away. And Ghana is not the only country they can invest in. So we are competing for investment globally. So when you attract investment into your country, you protect them. That's why we had to engage them in burden sharing for them to reduce up to 25%. But you cannot say we are taking their profits or revenues from them. That will amount to attacking private investment.
What's the biggest pushback you are getting in the education on E-levy? And what's your worst case scenario?
Yes, the biggest pushback is the politics and propaganda. The way people have taken an entrenched position to something good that will help this country.
Some say you have also taken entrenched positions with insisting on 1.7.
No, we've done something about it. We have engaged the telcos.
But you haven't given us a figure yet, or will that be at a later?
0.25. We have reduced it by 0.25 through the telcos. So the impact is almost the same. And we are saying that through that arrangement, government gets to keep all the fiscal expectation, the revenues, so that we can do more for the country.
I just want to understand. You're saying you brought the figure down?
Yes, by 0.25 through the telcos.
So the telcos have offered a 0.25 reduction on their charge. So they've offered to give up a bit of their profits to cushion government. But government's figure still remains 1.75.
Yes, so that we can have the revenues to do what government has planned to do for the year, which we have already passed in the appropriation bill. So if you say government was expecting, say, 6.9 billion, if we bring it to 1.5, we are losing 1 billion on the 6.9 billion. Okay? What it means is that maybe we're going to construct 10 kilometers of roads, we have to reduce it to 6 kilometers of roads. So government is saying, let the telcos come in, burden sharing, let them reduce. Government can still do the 10 kilometer of roads whilst we reduce the impact on the customer who is sending the money. It's the same thing.
More questions. If Thelma sends me, Mr. Dr. Kuma, if Thelma sends me Momo and I'm withdrawing, will I be charged the e-levy?
No.
Who pays the e-levy?
Thelma.
Thelma. The sender pays the so we receiving money.
No,
we don't. How about ATM?
ATM, you are withdrawing. You are not paying.
How about if I am sending money to my bank account? Now I'm a sender.
You don't pay. It's from your account to your bank account. You don't pay.
I do not pay.
Yes. And from your bank account to your Momo wallet, you don't pay.
Okay. But if you send it to someone else's
But if you are sending it to a third party,
wallet,
then you seen as a transaction. Yes, then you pay.
So this 1,000 is coming up again. If I send 1,000 CDs, the telecom company charges 1%.
Yes.
And then my e-levy is also 1.75%. And all you'll
be
paying.
So now the telco will now charge 0.75%. Because
instead of 1%.
The 1%.
Okay.
And then e-levy will charge 1.75 after your 100 of the 900.
But the telco will now charge 0.75% of the 1,000.
Yeah, yes, the telco charges.
Of the 1,000.
No, I think even the telcos, they have a seal after a certain amount.
Okay, so yeah.
The calculation is not exactly the same, what they've done there.
Okay. Instead of asking the telcos to reduce their charges, why don't you let them maintain their rate so that you get more taxes from them rather than reduce the rate? And you said you didn't want to.
We don't want to do that. And at the end of the day, they pay corporate taxes. Government will still get something from there. But we don't want to be seen to be attacking the investments of.
Does that mean you want the burden to fall on we the Ghanaians?
No, we have cushioned the Ghanaian by asking telcos to reduce. But we don't want to take their revenues or profits from them.
There's also been concerns about the entity that should be doing the collection.
Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA.
Now there's a communication that's GRA, but are the systems in place? Do they have the means to coordinate all these and make sure that we can monitor and keep an eye on money that are coming in? There's some who have argued...
EMIs, the electronic money issuers, the telcos and Ghana Revenue Authority and even I think NCA to a certain level, they are all the committees working together to ensure we are able to get the revenues.
I've read someone's comment on one of our streams, and it's to the effect that if there was more to see of what previous taxes have been used for, and that's not to suggest that nothing has been done with any of the taxes, but if there was more to see to show that the money has been used for this, perhaps people may not be so hesitant to pay more taxes, because that's what the e-levy is, more tax.
I think sometimes we are too hard on ourselves. Let me tell you, Ghana is one of the only countries in the world, not in Africa, in the world, where parents can take their children to school without paying a school fees. The children are fed, they are provided materials and feeding for 3 years, free education. So if it is not your tax, how is government able to do that? So sometimes we are too hard on ourselves. Look, if you talk about infrastructure in our country, and check, I will not even say MPP era or NDC era, check the last almost 30 years we have been in this Fourth Republic. Compare our level of development to any other West African country. And you will know that we are not doing bad, except that we want to do more. Of course, we have higher aspirations and we can achieve better. But let's not be too hard on ourselves and say that we are not doing anything with the taxes that we collect. We are doing a lot. With this constant supply of electricity in Nigeria, go to Nigeria and see the kind of doomsday they have there. Okay, with all the oil they have. Ghana, even 1 week of doomsday, nobody will agree with you on that. We have water flowing in our systems, in our taps. So when you have water flowing, it is your tax. When you have health, when you are sick, now we are talking about Agenda 111, where every district in Ghana must have a hospital. All these things are being done with the taxes that you have. Education we are providing and all that we are doing is as a result of your tax. All the roads we are building. So it is not true. We hope we could do more, but it is never true that our taxes have done nothing for us.
Dr. Kuma,
yes.
Do the people trust you with what you are saying you're going to do with the money?
I should think so. And it's, of course, we should make them trust us by being transparent, by me making sure that what we say we are going to apply the funds to, we actually apply it. And most people, when you talk to them, they say, yes, we are happy to pay, but are we going to see that government is going to commit the funds to what it says it will? Not only for them to hear the next day, somebody says, I don't have contract with government, but have gotten paid for 51 million Ghana cedis, as we used to hear about judgment debts in the country. When we cut down the corruption, when we cut down the bureaucracies, and the red tapeism in the country, then of course we can manage the resources. But I want to assure them that that is exactly what government is determined to do with this e-levy. There will be transparency, there will be accountability, and we are going to strictly apply the funds to development of Ghana.
I've read something about the payments through the Ghana Interpayment, the GIPS systems, which would also attract
no,
the e-levy?
No, it will not.
It will not. So if you're paying anything
Ghana.gov, anything
to
through the tax system, it will not attract e-levy.
If you're paying your, you walk into the GRA office to make your company's payments for the end of the year.
Yes, and let's say you use the Ghana.gov or the GIFME system, you are not going to pay e-levy.
And so the scope of the levy is what we are trying to understand. It does apply to bank accounts, transfers done between accounts on the same electronic money issuer, mobile money transfers from accounts on one EMI, as you've come to call it, to another EMI, transfers from banks. What it does not apply to is the cumulative transfer of funds, like you said, from the 100, and then the payment of taxes and fees. How exactly is that exempt? Payment of taxes, you said GRA will not charge you for paying from your company account to the GRA account when you're paying your taxes. But fees, is it school fees, hospital fees? What kind of fees are we talking about?
Some of the taxes you can pay through, some of the fees, you can pay through the Ghana.gov platform. Okay, so government has created a digital platform for your payment of taxes and fees. If you use that platform and you send money by Momo, you are not going to be charged the e-levy.
That would be great news for some, but some still want more answers, and I'm getting some more on my phone. Good morning. I want the Honourable Minister to clarify if the e-levy applies to ATM withdrawals as well.
No.
If so, why am I being taxed again on my salary and being taxed on ATMs? The Minister said, well, it does not apply to ATM withdrawals because the multiple levels of taxes are a concern.
But that is the reality of life. When you are paid your income, you are taxed. When you move money from your income to pay fuel, you'll be taxed. When you move money from your pocket to buy food in a restaurant, you'll be taxed. So let's not talk about tax on tax here. That is the reality of life and how citizens contribute to nation building.
Well, the agenda will not come to light if the cooperation and the coordination with all the stakeholders fall to pieces, which is what the beginning of the journey for the e-levy was, with the scenes in Parliament. What's your approach to the minorities' concerns as you continue these engagements that you're on?
Yes, we have been patient and we haven't done more engagements with the minority, not just the minority, with CSOs, with faith-based organizations, with the general public, as we are doing. Today from here, we are going to Koforidua on a town hall meeting with the people to further explain to them that e-levy is to build Ghana. It's not to destroy you. It's to build Ghana. It's to help achieve higher infrastructure for our country, to create jobs for the youth through the Youth Start program, and also to reduce our debt burden as a country and create fiscal space for ourselves. So it is to the benefit of you and I. It's not to destroy anything. But like the early interviewees that you had, the people you interviewed, most of them lacked the understanding of what the e-levy was, what did it cover, what it didn't cover, and the politics and propaganda, which sought to paint it in a very bad light. So I believe as we continue to engage in the population, but I'm very happy. If you compare from November till now, many more people have come to be comfortable with the idea of the e-levy as they understand, and as government continue to accommodate views of the opposition, views of individuals who have, because initially remittances were part. We took it out. A lot of things have been modified as we continue. Those who have been worried about the poor group, there's very sensitive people to tax. We have exempted them and even extended it to all Momo users. So a lot of interventions, and when you are withdrawing, you don't pay. It is only the sender who has the money who should be able to contribute something. So I believe the continuous engagement, if it is on good faith, should be able to result in our collective agreement to pass this e-levy in Parliament.
Right. More comments and then we'll begin to wrap.
You can confirm this one. He said, this is Ask Joe in Tama. I've learned the basic salary for our politicians is 34,000 and something CDs. Multiplied by the number of politicians in our country, it's a huge sum of need for development. Can you confirm?
It is not true. I don't receive that amount of money.
More?
It's not true. But you see, the point is that even though this may look big, by the time the politician's salary, half of it is what we receive. But by the time that half comes, it's gone. Your constituents, you are paying their fees, you are paying their hospital bills. Sometimes politicians are miserable.
You sacrificed yourself.
Yes, but let's not make it look like we have offered it.
For your people.
Yes, but that is why they have opportunity to maintain us or not. And these same people, when they come and you don't sacrifice that money there to them, the next time they remove you. Okay. So it's not like you even have a choice. So let's not look at these nominal figures as if somebody is better off. No.
I can answer this one. If I send 50 CDs 3 times a day, will I be taxed? No.
The first 2 won't be charged.
Oh. But the 50,
but
the
last 50 will be.
Oh, okay. Because you have done the first 100 is gone.
Yes.
So the 50, so 1.75% of 50 CDs.
On the 50 CDs.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, good. The telcos do have a ceiling which makes it less burdensome to Momo. Why is the e-levy so open? You think it's being too harsh to the Ghanaians? The Honourable Minister indicated Ghanaians are already paying e-levy through the telcos. They believe that it's a burden to the Ghanaians. How do you respond to that?
So the telcos have a ceiling,
yes,
and they say beyond the 1,000,
yes,
if you pay the 10, anything else extra is still at the 10 Ghana cedis. I believe is what the charge for.
Yes,
for
I
some
think
have.
that is one argument that has come up that is still under consideration to have a seal. There's no decision on it yet, but I think we may get to that level.
And this is my last question, last comment. This is from Moses in Kaswa. Taxation is good, but give us time to digest the whole concept as it happened during the introduction of the value-added tax, rather than forcing it down our throats.
I agree with him, and that's why I'm here today, and we are everywhere. We'll be in Koforidua. We are engaging the population. And like I said, the continuous engagement has made many people now come to appreciate the impact of the e-levy.
How long do you think this engagement will take?
I think we are almost there. From what we have done till now, many people appreciate it now.
So when would you potentially be ready to present it to Parliament again?
It's already in Parliament, so maybe it may appear on our agenda from next week after all the extensive deliberations.
Okay, Kath, do you have any more?
I'm done. NAPCO, they want a word from you on NAPCO trainees. What can you tell the NAPCO trainees about their allowances?
Allowances. I think I have already stated that funds have been released. It's with controller and they are going to be paid.
When?
It's not in my hands to give specific
Tell us whose hands.
Controller.
So we should go to controller.
Controller will pay them.
So they will tell us.
I have a copy of the letter here which I can show you.
Please, I would like to see it.
Okay, all right.
So
let me forward it.
And once we have it, we will put it on your screen.
For them to see
so that you will see what the minister.
Even as from last year, for them to be paid.
Please forward that letter to me. We'll post it out before we leave the show.
Yes.
The government has been at the seat today represented by the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kuma, who is also MP representing the good people of Dweso. And he's been explaining what the e-levy is and what it is not to us and you as well. We appreciate your time this morning, Honourable. Perhaps we'll bring you back for more of this virtual town hall meeting.
I've sent it to Kofi producer. He has it now.
Okay, so we'll put that on the screen very shortly.
It's actually dated 30th of July. 2021.
So the money was released all.
Oh yeah.
So why did you make our people suffer like that, sir?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They will be paid.
30th July, the money was released.
Honourable Minister, thank you so much for spending time.
Now.
And we'll have you back when we can for further engagement on this matter and others with regards to finance. Salary increases 2022. Perhaps we should have a conversation on that. Government workers would be happy to hear that. So all you needed to know about the e-levy, we hope that we had at least some of your questions answered. And if you have more. We'll invite the minister again. Thank you, Dr. John Kuma, Deputy Minister of Finance, for spending time with us this morning. Thank you for watching and sending.
It's a pleasure to be here every day.
You loved our screen and our audience watching their questions.
Oh, yes.
So the letter that you just sent us is on your screen now.
Yes. This is a release letter on NAPCO, and you can.
30th
So
July.
the minister says the money has been released and the NAPCO trainees should get their monies very shortly. He's unable to say exactly when, but it's been put through the system and it will be received hopefully pretty shortly. So thank you for helping us analyze the situation. The Yellow Couch will be active in a few minutes, and Valerie is ready to have the conversation on Africa, Ghana, and the map. We'll be back.
Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team. By profession, and then he's also a multi-talented instrumentalist whose passion for projecting the African continent has led him to create these amazing guitars, electronic guitars. And guess what? To further cement his passion for the African continent, he's naming all the guitars after capital cities of African countries. And guess what? He went to Nigeria. I'm not even going to talk about that because he's Nigerian, so he wanted to be biased. But he went to Nigeria first. But guess what? He's in Accra and he's here to present our guitar. And our guitar is called Accra, after the capital city. And guess who he's here with? He's here with Stephen Wood. Stephen Wood is a Grammy-winning guitarist, and he's in studio. And because I want to spice it up and jazz it up a bit, I'm not even going to come to my guest first. So I'm going to be biased and go to Stephen Wood because Stephen Wood is Ghanaian. And guess what? He's going to play the guitar. He's going to play the guitar. He's going to play the Accra guitar if Ezekiel will give me permission. And so we're going to go to Stephen pretty shortly. In a few seconds, we're going to have a feel of what the Accra guitar sounds like, guys. And so here is Stephen Wood, and we are on. Shit. Amazing, amazing. Amazing. Thanks. Righties. Wow is all I can say. So that's beautiful music made in Africa, using the Accra electronic guitar by Instruments of Africa, and no other than Ezekiel himself is in studio. Welcome, Ezekiel.
Thank you very much for having me.
Congratulations to you. I mean, this is amazing.
Thank you.
So, if we don't play the Accra guitar or Instruments of African guitars, do we have the same quality of sound?
You don't.
Are you just doing PR or for real?
No, this is an amazing piece of instrument you see right there.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean, it has so much going on in it. The design, the headstock, the electronic pickups, they sound way good. I mean, it's just one of the most beautiful things you can ever play as a musician, as a guitarist.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Okay, thank you, Stephen Wood. Thank you for that Grammy Award-winning guitarist. So, Ezekiel, you're an accountant, okay? What are you doing wading in waters of instruments and whatnot? Why are you not sticking to accounting?
Well, that's a very good question. First of all, let me say thank you very much for having me here this morning. And accounting, yeah, that's my everyday life. But I also am passionate about music. I play multiple instruments. I play the guitar, the drums, the piano. So I've always played that since I was young. So that has kind of influenced my worldview as I continue to, grow up and I play. But I guess after playing music for so long, you need to not just play someone else's instrument. You have to be able to create your own and look beyond just the regular consumption of, product. I've always held this notion that you need to be able to produce your own. If you use other people's stuff, and when you're able to do that, then you have control over the future and the narrative of what you're doing.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. And so how many guitars have you made so far?
Well, so far, I mean, we just released 9 for 9 capital cities. Across Africa, we have Soweto for South Africa, which is not a capital city, but I just like the Southwest Township narrative, so that's why we call it Soweto. There's one called Nairobi for Kenya. There's one called Cairo for Egypt. Another one is called Kinshasa for Congo. Another one is called Kigali for Rwanda. Another one is called Lagos for Nigeria, where I was born and raised. And this is a beautiful one for Accra.
For Accra.
Ghana, yeah.
Amazing. So you took it to Nigeria first.
Yeah.
You haven't been to the other African country, but you took it to Nigeria. What was the reception like? Wait, first, who did you present it to? Did you present it to the president?
No, I've given a copy to King Sunny Ade. Yeah, and I've also got an endorsement from Ebenezer Obey, who happens to be a mentor to my dad. My dad used to play with him for about 20 years. So they loved it, and I've given it to, guitar legends in Nigeria. They're using it now. And it just so happens to, dump their old guitar collection, and this is the one they focus on now.
And then they switch to this one real quick. Yeah. Why? You mentioned the quality of the sounds, but is there something different? Or it's just the fact that it comes in the form of, I wish I could hold one. I will hold one before the show ends. I will hold one. Sure. So is it because it comes in the form of the African map? It's sort of, holding the African map and playing. That's it. Why?
I think it's just a sense of identity.
Amazing.
We use musical instruments. We consume a lot of musical instruments in Africa. And to have something that is made in the image of Africa and is geared towards our music, and you can use it for all the genres, and just that identity that this is our own, not just something we got from other parts of the world, but we have a sense of connection to it. Yeah.
Okay. And so, instruments of Africa, are you just sticking to guitars, or you're going to expand and make other instruments?
Well, we are an innovative company, and we hope to release more products in the nearest future. We were talking about that again yesterday. And the guitar is just what we just released. So we have more products to release, and it's the fact that we have to have an innovative mindset. We have to move away from that.
What we have playing by our video on screen is you. I think this is when you were sketching out the design.
Yes. Those were humbling moments, because my first prototype was looking good but didn't sound good.
Okay. So how many times did you try? How many times did you try?
I'll say between 3 to 4, but I'd consider the second one, when it became the reality and it sounded good, my second try. But between that first one, I went back on the drawing board, because I didn't factor in something really important when you build guitars. And guitars, everything has to do with numbers.
Okay.
From the headstock to the neck to the body to the bridge, it has to be a precise number. If you miss it by just an inch, you messed it up. You have to start all over again. So, but I factor in the numbers. I was able to understand my mistakes, which is fine to make these mistakes. And ultimately, when I plugged it in the first time, it was just exhilarating. It just felt really good. This is an instrument.
And that's when you knew that you had to stick with this one.
We have to stick with this one. And also the idea of making this and giving a sense of belonging to every African when you play it. I could call it Ezekiel's guitar, but no. when you make something of this magnitude, you have to give everybody a sense of connection to it.
You're not being selfish. You're not being selfish. I see that it's made from really shining. It looks really good. Is it difficult or easy to get your materials? How? Run us through the process.
I mean, we source the material from different, parts of the world. One of our ultimate goals will be someday we have a plant here, maybe in Ghana or Nigeria, where this is produced on us.
Ghana, please.
So that way we're able to employ our locals, put money back into the economy, and this can go from Africa to the rest of the world. But right now we're sourcing our parts from different parts of the world, and we're assembling everything. But what you see here is a quilted maple top, and when you look at the Accra model, it is centered around the color here in Ghana, because I looked at the map, the everyday life in Ghana, and you see red in the map color, so that's why we did a red finish. And you see a little black line. It kind of represents the black star of Ghana. So that way, you're not just making guitar, but you're making something that fits into the culture and tradition of the locals. Yeah.
Amazing. So who are you going to present it to? I mean, yes, we've seen it on national television here first, but are you going to perhaps take it to give it to our president?
I love your president. He's an amazing man, and he makes Africa proud.
Shout out, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm one of your biggest fans. I follow you on Instagram. You're an amazing man. And look, I would like to present one to the president.
Righties.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look up. Have you met any of the industry players, say the Ministry of Tourism? Have you spoken to some of our music producers? Have you gone to any studios? Even our music artists, have you? What's it like?
Well, we've met with quite, few, but we'd like to meet more. This is my first time in Ghana, and just to showcase this product that really, symbolizes Accra, to name a guitar after the city of Accra, I think is a big deal, and everybody should see this. We'd like to meet more, maybe a Minister of Tourism that you mentioned. We'd like to connect with him.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm sure our music producers and musicians would absolutely love this. Also, what's in the pipeline? I know that there's a talk. There's an upcoming talk. What's in the pipeline for Instruments of Africa? I mean, hey, you've presented this beautiful guitar to us. What's next? How are you going about marketing it? Are you going to use Ghanaian-owned shops? Like, give us the whole 411. I mean, this is our introduction to you, so we want to know everything.
Yeah, well, at the moment we're looking to partner with local music stores. That way they can carry the brand, so it's accessible to everyone. And also we're looking to work with more, guitarists on ground. I mean, we have the, great Grammy Award guitarist here, O.T. Wood, who is representing us. Is going to be our brand ambassador for Instrument of Africa.
I agree, totally agree.
Yeah, so we hope to achieve more by connecting with people, and ultimately to launch more product in the future, to have innovative conferences, because I strongly believe that we have young men and women in the streets of Ghana who will have great ideas.
Amazing.
And they need to be able to, have a platform to put it down, to invent, to create stuff. Like I said earlier on, we use a lot of, products here from other parts of the world. We import, but we need to be able to create, produce, because if you don't create or produce, you have no control over the future. And we need to be able to change that mindset for the next generation, and have innovative symposiums and conferences to educate people, and create a platform where they can be part of the success story.
Okay. Even though I have a fair idea of what your answer is going to be, how do you fuse accounting and making musical instruments?
Well, I wanted, I believe in having a diversified portfolio.
Okay.
If you're making music, I played music, I used music to support myself when I was in college. And just to have a backup plan, in case this doesn't work, you just have an accounting degree. And I worked for a little while. I've, worked, different jobs. But the fact of the matter is, it's helping with the numbers. Accounting helps with the numbers and the design of the instrument.
What does success look like to you?
Well, that's a very good question. Success to me is seeing lives being transformed, seeing people having a much better life, having opportunities for the next generation to do better than the previous generation. And the only way you measure success in life is to know that, the current generation is doing better than the previous one.
Yeah.
And if we have younger people doing well around the world, we have people, moving forward in life, to me, that's success. It's not the monetary part of it, but you doing well and with your passion, your purpose, and you're championing the cause of your destiny. That's success.
I see. Will the ordinary African be able to afford an IOA guitar?
Well, this is a very good question. I strongly believe it is affordable. And the reason why I'm saying that is if you compare our guitar, the craftsmanship, the quality of what you're getting, and you look at the major brands like, Fender, Gibson, you have guitars with Gibson ranging from $5,000, $4,000 for one, $6,000, depending on what quality you're getting. And Fender, you see a Fender for $2,500, $3,000, maybe $1,900. But you'll be surprised that this is just $1,000.
Just $1,000.
Yeah.
So the ordinary African who really wants to use an IOA guitar, an instrument, will be able to afford. So that's going for $1,000. It's
going for $1,000, and if you want a quality product that is going to last you for generations to come, this is it.
Better invest in it.
You better invest in it. I mean,
how many outlets of Instruments of Africa IOA do you have in Africa? How many outlets do you have, or how many outlets are you looking to open?
Well, we haven't opened one outlet now. We have a distribution center in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay.
So if anyone if they order and we partner with local stores in different countries, we can ship, as many to them. And we also have some stocks in in the United States. We have one in California, and one in Maryland, and one in Nashville, Tennessee, Country Music City. So if anyone wants to order in North America, we have some inventories over there.
Right. And where do we find you on social media for more engagement? Yes.
Yeah, Instruments of Africa, Instagram, Facebook, and the website is www.instrumentsofafrica.com. You'll be able to find any details, send us an email, shoot us a text. We'll be available.
Right. Also, we are in the era where we realize that there's a lot of opportunity in the creative art space, and we are advocating for more creative persons not to shy away from their talent and hide their talent, but to showcase it. What would be your advice if this was a mini TED Talk? What would be your advice to young creatives who probably see the creative industry as a big daunting one, but fail to see that it is an opportunity and has lots of opportunities in there? So this is a mini TED Talk. Guys, mini TED Talk.
I'll put it this way, anything is possible. And don't be discouraged. If you have an idea, pen it down, put it down. If you envision something in your mind, you have to make it a reality by putting it down. When you put it down, share your vision with people. Along the line, people will discourage you. You may meet people who are going to support what you do. When I first started, they thought I was crazy, living accounting, doing guitar. But you can have your idea penned down and get the people who can support your vision and be consistent with it. And when you're consistent with it, over time, everything pays off. Yeah. You may have some challenges, but along the line, you see that your passion and being consistent will take you a long way.
Quick one, is there a guitar for left-handed people?
Well, we are working on that, and it's almost ready, but we're going to work on that. But if we want to convert this one to left-handed, we just have to change the strings, positioning.
That's what makes it different. Yeah. It makes it good.
Yeah.
That's why you lot who are into musical instruments, hey, go for Instruments of Africa. They are everywhere on social media. I mean, you can order, and Ezekiel has promised it will be delivered in a perfect of all shapes, guys. That's the new way to go. Instruments of Africa, made in Africa, music made in Africa, instruments made in Africa. I've been speaking to the founder, innovator of IOA, Instruments of Africa, Ezekiel
Olalaye.
Say that again.
Olalaye.
Ezekiel Olalaye.
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 Good, you got it.
And yeah, that's how we've been spending our breakfast table. We're not going to end. I mean, I'm going to have tea and Cap join us. But guess what? Who's going to end the show for us in smooth style? We have Stephen Wood in the house. And hey, that's us zooming off to the guitar area in a few seconds. Stephen Wood, you have our guests and our viewers and our audience. There you go.
Mm-hmm.